Here's a gentleman that I've been waiting to hear speak tonight. From Sinclair Broadcasting, this is Mark Aitken.
Thank you, and it's great to have all of you here. And I'll say very humbly that is this working? Okay. You know, it's great to be amongst a group of friends and colleagues and people that I've seen over the decades. Many faces I recognize, many names I don't. But I'm going to really breeze through for 15 minutes. I promise to be no more than 15 minutes. I'm open to questions, a few questions I know that have been submitted prior to this, and I'll answer those, but offline I'll give you my full devoted attention to those questions, and this presentation will be online. But you can go to the beginning of the... Keep going. That one comes up later. Okay, so what I've done actually is I gave a presentation on Sunday rather, and I laid out as the opening to the NAB Broadcast Engineering Conference a vision for the industry, and this vision has very much been tied directly to my thoughts of how do we bring together every broadcaster as a cohesive part of an industry, because I think truly the thing that's lacking is a significant understanding that it's not about high power broadcasters, it's not about Class A broadcasters, and it's not about low power broadcasters. It's about all broadcasters. And I think that if we participate together and open our mind to the notion that we need to be a connected community that acts like an industry, because quite frankly we don't act like an industry. We act like a bunch of two-bit players, and two-bit players have their roles in life. And but the fact of the matter is we are broadcasters, and people want our content. The facts, the figures prove that, and I'm not putting up any of the graphs and the pages out of countless magazines that point to the fact that broadcast television is still king. So while we're still king, what we need to do is bring together the entirety of this country to understand that we play a pivotal role in being a forefront, reinvigorating force in communications. And by the way, we do this really cheap, and in most cases it's for free. So I don't have control, so I'm going to just do this, and we'll see how the slave works. So one thing that's encouraging to me is that throughout all the engineering conferences, there's been a whole string of thought about, you know, next-gen broadcasting and why do we need it. Well, I have my own opinion, and I hope that it becomes a shared opinion, because if we don't have a common understanding that we have a common enemy, I don't think we're going to win. Now, we can sugarcoat it and put all the terms we want, but the fact of the matter is that we're under attack. The carriers want our viewers, they want our spectrum, and they want our advertisers. They want the whole Megillah. It's not just about spectrum. It's not. It is about one thing. Humble opinion. It is about dominance of the airwaves and being the gatekeeper to every fact, figure, program, and an advertisement that lands up on your desktop, on your mobile phone, or on your television set. So the fact is that we've got the wireless industry openly saying that they need a broadcast platform. I'm not going to go through all of it, but EMBMS, okay, it's Enhanced Multimedia Broadband Mobile Service. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that they've got this thing called LTE. They know that their architecture, it's not a question of spectrum, the architecture of unicast will not supply the demands of a consuming public, because it turns out that most people like to watch the similar sort of stuff. So they've concocted this EMBMS. They've taken LTE, which which was not designed for broadcast, and they're trying to push that forward as their solution to unclog their own unicast networks. We're left out, by the way, of any participation with that because, quite frankly, we've seen Verizon just a week and a half ago talking about the fact they're not paying anybody for anything they want to carry. You want to get it for free, they'll carry it for you. And by the way, the data plans are $40, $60, $80 a month. Now, what might a next-gen platform look like? I view this as a consensus view, and I say that because I've worked with engineering committees across the board, ATSC, NAB, FOB-TV. Everybody is talking the same thing. They're talking OFDM, orthogonal frequency division multiplex. And by the way, I'm going to make some stuff really simple in about 3 minutes, so hang in there. Don't let your brains blow apart. But I'm an engineer, so I have a tough time staying away from the hard facts. But OFDM is not just one thing. It's a modulation scheme that's got a bunch of knobs that means that you are in charge of where that signal goes. If you want a really bulletproof, signal that's going to penetrate buildings, well, you commit more bits to those signals, and that's where they go. If you think that your business is to a rooftop antenna, you don't build the bits quite as robust, but what you get is more bits that get delivered to that outdoor antenna. You're in charge of your destiny with an OFDM-based platform, period. The idea of multiple physical layers means you get to decide exactly how many bits get prescribed to. I don't use the word mobile anymore, by the way. I say nomadic because mobile sort of ticks off the folks in Hollywood. They want extra money. So highly nomadic, 150 mile an hour nomadic, you can do that if you want. Or you can do the rooftop, for high definition or other services. But I think most importantly, and what I'm going to focus on, is not the modulation and the fact that finally everybody gets to receive you, but it's the fact that that IP transport is universal. It is the internet. It is mobile broadband. It is everything. So if we have a common transport layer, it means that those bits that we're putting out over the air, they can be offloaded off the air and put in any path that will support a packet structure. IETF, who knows what that means? Anybody? IETF, that's the standards body for the internet. The fact is, if we follow the internet, people are going to be able to follow us no matter what we're doing. And last but not least, flexible application framework. What that means is that you want to build an app for something, that's what you do. But if you've got a browser on your device, it's sort of HTML5-ish. That means that you can take those IP bits, you put them into a browser, your programming's there. Your literature is there. Your data is there. Everything that you want to put out over the air is there. I forgot I have a tap. All right, now this one will blow your brains apart, but that's okay. Close your eyes if it's too tough. But my point here is that a lot of the activity I'm talking about is a global discussion that's now underway. You've got the future of broadcast TV, bringing together all the major broadcast standardization organizations and others into a room saying, how do we do the same thing whether I'm in the United States or Europe or Asia or the Philippines or anywhere else? And the fact is standard, this kind of harmonization pulls key elements from DVB is largely referred to as the European standard. IEEE, we all know what that is. That's Wi-Fi, WiMAX, and all the stuff that goes on across the internet. LTE, that's the wireless guys. But the architectures that they're using are architectures that are directly importable to broadcast television. So rather than being this cluster of little non-sticky little gooey balls bouncing around on the left-hand side, what we're talking about is I believe that the future of the broadcast industry is being able to interconnect all of these broadcast entities so that you get to do what you choose to do. Now, if you can fill the screen with 20 channels of television, then you can do that. But if you want to go out and put those bits up to bid, so that somebody else can use them at a price, then you have that opportunity as well. So we need to be together on this. Broadcasters today, they're this island. That's the simple part. Now, you put a couple broadcasters together, you got to have some smarts that ties them together. Well, the wireless guys do this already. You know, they follow you. They know where you are. They know what cell you're receiving from, you're transmitting to. They know that if you're roaming, that they've got a business contract over here. They know that if you subscribe to this service, that's already been done. Well, the wireless guys have this thing that connects their broadcast entities together, and it's called the EPC, Evolved Packet Core, and it's a book about that thick, and you don't want to read it. But I'm calling it the BMX. It's just my term. It's the Broadcast Market Exchange. And what that means is that there's an opportunity for people to basically plug in, and you can sell your bits. Now, you have an obligation to provide programming, and I'm not suggesting that all you do is be nothing but a wholesaler, but that opportunity exists. Now, let's extend it a step further. You can do an entire marketplace in this fashion. You could tie a marketplace together, and so you've got high-power broadcasters, you've got low-power broadcasters that are sitting in different parts of a market, and they become a unity. By the way, in many cases, they become the opportunity to do geofenced targeted advertising. I don't expect you to know what that is, but I can tell you that an advertiser who's advertising today and paying you $1 may be willing to pay you $7, $10, or $40 based upon the target audience, based upon geographic areas, based upon who's receiving that signal. And extend this across the whole notion of what do you want to do as an industry in offering business. Well, I say to you that I think that it is a waste of UHF bits to simply throw those at a home, to throw those to an outdoor antenna. There's a reason the wireless guys want UHF spectrum badly. It's great for mobility. It's great for portability. Sorry, I didn't mean to use that word. It's great for nomadic ability. It's great for portability. High VHF, boy, if you want to cover an area to an outdoor aerial, and you want to have lots of bits delivered to homes, VHF is the place to be. Now we know God's in the room, right, Randy? We heard that earlier. But the fact is that as an industry, if we knew that there was an ability to reach everybody, but it depended on everybody being together in this, we wouldn't be in this quandary. One of the meetings that we had with the congressman last evening, he said, what you have to do to make sure you get something done in Washington is you've got to make sure the right guy is in the room. Now, he's going to help us find out who that right guy is. And he's already, you heard it with your own ears, he's going to help us develop the legislation, the language of a way to convey to Congress what it is we need as an industry. But I can tell you, I don't know exactly what your particular needs are. We need to hear from you. We need to be able to put that together. Shortly, Rod Payne is going to be the chairman of this organization. Rod's going to have the headache of putting that all together, but I think he's got the stamina to do that. So this is 3 minutes. Do I have like 3 minutes more? 3 minutes more, and I can pretty much wrap this up. So in words, configurability means: do you want fixed reception? 35 megabits. You want nomadic reception? 12 megabits. You want to mix and match? You can do those all you want. I'd go into the fact that we're really parsing out numbers of carriers, and then each carrier we assign modulation and forward error correction. But the fact is out of that total, you get to distribute those bits where you want. Next-gen video codec, 4 times more efficient than MPEG-2. So whatever you're doing today, you can do at least 4 times that in terms of video bandwidth. So the multiples, I did a little bit of math here, right? 6 to 8 times increase in fixed reception video services, and based on A153, which is the mobile standard, I can say mobile because that's what it's called, the mobile standard for ATSC, you have a 12 times multiplier in the number of video display capability, the number of total pixels that you can fling to these nomadic devices. So now I'm going to, in this list, the one thing I wanted to point out was 4G offload. Don't forget that. The genesis of the plan was very easy. How can we, out of this network of stations, low powers, high powers, and Class A's, how can we weave those together and provide an ability to offload capacity to the wireless carriers? A lot of you don't know it, and you don't need to know it because it's all magic to you, but the fact is that when a wireless company acquires a new chunk of spectrum, sometimes that spectrum isn't directly contiguous. But what they do with that spectrum is that they virtually aggregate it, and they say, well, I'm going to pretend like this piece of spectrum is part of me, and that's my download side. So think of broadcasting as nothing but a big, fat download pipe that's for hire. That's how you can make tons of money. Next page. So, I don't need to do that. Okay, so the simple Peter Rabbit sort of pictures, because I've heard the questions asked, just show me what I can do. And by the way, I think that these are conservative because I've not taken into account stat mux. I've only taken into account the efficiencies that are being displayed today. And anybody who has been in broadcasting for more than 10 years knows that every 2-3 years you have another 15-20% increase in efficiency and compression. All right, how would you like to do 8 HD TV services? How would you like to do 12 720p services? Oh, and by the way, go back, making sure you're awake. In the bottom left-hand corner, I've put this little thing. 2 terabits of storage equals 1,300 hours of 1080. 2 terabytes of storage equals 2,000 hours, because you wouldn't know this fact, but that little SD card, that little micro SD card, it's architected to be able to store up to 2 terabytes of data. So that little tiny piece of chip, by the way, if you look at the trends and based on Moore's law, I think you're going to end up with a 1 terabyte SD chip in the marketplace at that $50 price point in a matter of 5 or 6 years, about the time that we're going mainstream with this next-gen product. 2 terabytes is right behind that. So the ability of people to store content and play that later, and by the way, to be able to report the fact that they watched it later, is a huge value. 15 or more 480p widescreen. Remember when HD launched and Fox was sort of booed out because all they were doing was 480p? Well, I'll tell you, if you got a 40-inch, 42-inch or less television set, you probably can't tell the difference between 480 and 720p. 30 or more nomadic, fully mobile services. Why did I choose that number? Because that's the enhanced mobile display target that's being used by folks like Dial, which is Fox, NBC, and Pearl 9 and those folks. And then you've got a baseline of that I haven't even included here, which is 24p. By the way, VHS resolution, anybody? 240 lines. So VHS quality, you could probably squeeze 48 VHS quality videos through this sort of infrastructure, and then you can mix and match all you want. So I think I close it up now. Go ahead. You didn't see my finger, did you? Oh yeah, ultra high definition. Anybody? I'm not suggesting it's a business. There are people suggesting it is, but the fact is, the only way you're going to get there is with a next generation platform. And 3D TV, by the way, if you want that. So really big pictures. The streaming services are going to be offering those this year. So the idea is if we collect ourselves together as an industry, and we lay out this kind of vision and infrastructure and willingness to participate in making this happen, then we can be just about anything that we want to be. And we put together an economic report that we knew that we were sort of pushing against the tide because Congress needed this $25 billion to spend. But the fact of the matter is that throughout this industry, we believe that that we could, simply based upon the 5% tax that's put on ancillary services, that we could return to the Treasury $150 billion after 10 years. And that's the chart. Confiscation, redistribution, I decided to get rid of the really pretty words, but I think that really it's up to us as an industry, whether we follow the lead of the congressmen and this organization that are willing to take this message to the Hill. And what you can do is join the organization if you already haven't. Continue to file comments with the FCC until they're done hearing from us. And thank you very much.